Namaste guys, Rajesh here and this is our review of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 3. Like other many recent devices launched in India in the sub 15k range, the Redmi Note 3 comes with a full metal body. At the front, you have the 5 megapixel camera, the earpiece, the notification LED, proximity sensor and ambient light sensor. Below it sits the 5.5-inch Full HD IPS LCD display with capacitive navigation keys sitting right below it. At the bottom, you have the micro USB port which is located on the left side of the handset. A pretty odd position if you ask me. There's also a microphone hole. At the rear, you have the speaker at the very bottom with a small pivot below it to make sure that the sound is not muffled when the phone is kept on a table. Then you have the fingerprint scanner, the two-tone dual LED flash and the 16 megapixel rear shooter. The volume and the power buttons are located at the right edge of the handset, while the hybrid SIM slot is located on the left. At the top, you have the 3.5mm jack, an IR blaster and a microphone hole. The metal build feels premium and not cheap like it does on the Honor 5X, and for a phone that costs only Rs 12,000, the Redmi Note 3 has a terrific build quality. However, it's the ergonomic design of the handset which in my opinion is the highlight here. The curved edges help the Redmi Note 3 to fit into your palm snugly rather than digging into them. It also makes the phone manageable despite it coming with a large 5.5-inch screen. No, you still require two hands to use the Redmi Note 3 from time to time, but most of the time you'll be able to use the phone with one hand just fine. Now talking about the display itself, the 5.5-inch Full HD panel on the Redmi Note 3 can get really bright. The laminated display is beautiful to look at, has great viewing angles, contrast ratio and touch sensitivity. While the display is also eligible in sunlight, it can get a bit reflective sometimes that can hamper readability. Otherwise though, this is as good as 5.5-inch Full HD displays can get, at least in this price range. I really have no complaints regarding the display of the Redmi Note 3. Now coming to the highlight of the Redmi Note 3, which is its performance. The handset is powered by a hexa-core Snapdragon 650 chipset which comprises of 4 little Cortex A53 cores clocked at 1.4 GHz and 2 big Cortex A72 cores clocked at 1.8 GHz. The handset comes with 2 or 3 GB of RAM and 16 or 32 GB of storage space, depending on the variant you choose. There's also a microSD card slot on the handset, so you don't really have to worry about running out of space. The Redmi Note 3 is the first smartphone in the world to use Qualcomm's Snapdragon 650 chipset. The powerful chipset ensures absolutely stellar performance. Compared to the Honor 5X or the Vibe K4 Note or any other phone in this budget, the Snapdragon 650 chipset found inside the Redmi Note 3 is almost twice as powerful as them. Just navigating around the phone using various applications, there were no skipped frames or any hint of lag. The same cannot be said for the likes of the Vibe K4 Note and the Honor 5X, which can sometimes drop frames even while just navigating around the UI. While playing heavy games like Asphalt 8 and Call of Duty, the Redmi Note 3 kept its cool and performed admirably. The Redmi Note 3 is setting a new benchmark with its performance in the sub 15,000 price range. In fact, in my opinion, the handset performs even better than other phones that are priced above its price range like the Moto X Play, the Moto X Style or even the OnePlus 2. Now I'm using the 3GB variant of the handset here and I had absolutely no issues with multitasking. At the rear, the Redmi Note 3 sports a 16 megapixel shooter with face detection autofocus, which in my opinion is its biggest disappointment. The camera app and its interface are pretty decent and they offer a good experience. You get plenty of filters, plus there's an HDR mode, though there's no HDR auto mode, which is surprising considering that this phone comes with a pretty powerful chipset. You also don't get the option to shoot pictures in RAW, but this should not really be surprising. On paper, the camera specs of the handset sound impressive, but its performance in real life is a huge disappointment. In daylight and with ample amount of lighting available, the camera can produce somewhat decent results. Though zoom in and you can notice the clear lack of details, and in contrasty situations, some halos. In low light, things get even worse. The images lack any kind of detail and the end photos are barely usable. And I'm not even talking about extreme low light situations here. Even when there is a decent amount of light available indoors, the Redmi Note 3 produces pictures that are very grainy and lack detail. The Redmi Note 3 comes with a huge 4050 mAh non-removable battery. With a 5.5-inch display and a new power-efficient Snapdragon 650 chipset, this ensures that the Redmi Note 3 delivers absolutely stellar battery life. I was constantly able to get more than 5 to 6 hours of screen on time from the handset on a single charge. If battery life is among your top priority, you really cannot go wrong with the Redmi Note 3. During weekends and days when I use the phone sporadically, I could easily make it through another day without even having to bother about charging the phone for even 5 minutes. The handset also supports Quick Charge 1.0, which allows it to charge its battery from 0 to 50% in only around an hour. The next 50% roughly take around an hour and a half. So the long charging times might really be a bummer for many, but again, with the handset offering terrific battery life, you really don't need to worry about charging it to 100% all the time. The handset is not perfect and its camera performance leaves a lot to be desired, but its stellar performance, ergonomic design and great battery life more than make up for it. The Honor 5X may offer somewhat better camera performance than the Redmi Note 3, but the performance of that phone is not at all satisfying. So guys, that's it for this video. If you liked our review of the Redmi Note 3, make sure to drop in a comment below and let us know about it.